Come join me, work out in the wilderness and everything here.
Perfect place to be, man. Take a little time out your day, come get right, get a little pumping.
You gotta have you gotta have a turf so you do your conditioning, push the weights. You also have the treadmill where you can get your conditioning, dumbbells, leg press, all types of machines out here you can get to work in.
Come join us. E-Dub.
Welcome to another episode of Triple Take. My name is Jakarian Moore.
And I'm Jaden Wilson.
Today we're going to be interviewing female athletes across Edward Waters campus to see their perspective on women in sports in 2025, such as, social media impacting women in sports or how men in sports get looked over women in sports and how transgender people are now being able to play in women's sports. So how do you think they're going to react to that?
I think they'll react. Honestly, it's up and down because a lot of people, they're real close buddy with a lot of, the athletes that are in now and just the people in society now. So, some may view it as different, some may, but today we're going to get to the bottom of that, really see people's opinions and, how they truly feel within, restraint. But today, we will find out how people view that. Do they think it's fair, unfair? And get their true take. So, with all that being said, let's get on with the interviews.
Okay, so today we have
Lauren Smith. I'm a freshman. I play volleyball here at Edward Waters University, and my fun fact about me is that I like fashion.
Okay, so Lauren, I'm gonna ask you 4 questions. The first question is, how has social media impacted women in sports?
I would say social media has impacted women in sports because there's a lot of women that play sports out there, and it helps other athletes notify, hey, I'm also a woman that's in sports, so I go through these things and these struggles, and I also play either the same sport or a different sport. So it just helps build a community for women to make sure hey, I'm also an athlete here.
Okay. How can colleges and high schools support the development of girls in sports or women in sports?
I say they will help support women in sports by promoting them, definitely giving them the feedback and achievements that they have done through the years that they've been here. Just making them sure they have that reassurance that, hey, I'm actually doing good and stuff like that.
Third question is, can you name a female athlete who inspires you and why?
A female athlete that inspires me is Lenny Chadwick. She's a libero at Nebraska, and she really reminds me of me because I go through the same stuff that she goes through, and she pushes really hard for the world that she wants. And I feel I can relate to her so much because I've gone through struggles with sports, and she's a role model for me because it keeps me going. Hey, she's also playing D1, so it also helps me it encourages me to keep going.
Okay, last question is, how do you feel about transgender women being allowed to participate in sports?
Me personally, I feel I really don't care. I feel as long as everyone is cordial and growing together, then I feel it's fine.
That's all the questions we have for Lauren. On to the next.
Make sure you send me them, Jason.
All right, guys, we're out here with our next guest on Triple Take.
Hi, I'm Zakia Abdul. I am a sophomore. I play volleyball, and a fun fact about me is I'm a Virgo.
All right, Ms. Zakia, we got 4 questions for you today. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right, first question. Why do you think some women's sports gain more attention and funding than others?
I believe that just based off publicity and advertising, just because like certain sports are like gain more attention and people like it. So when it comes to like funding or like watching, a lot of people don't always know about the sports that aren't like most known around certain countries. So
Okay. All right, second question. How can the sports industry better support women returning to competition after pregnancy or injury?
I feel that we can get better resources from the school, so when they are in their pregnancy or after injury, they always have the support from the school throughout their whole injury or any case that they're out and missing their sports. So just like resources is very important because women go through a lot of things, and I feel that having that support is very important with anything.
Great answer. All right, third question. Do you think enough is being done to support young girls in pursuing sports at all levels? Why or why not?
I don't think so, just because like I answered previously, just certain sports get more publicity than others.
Do you think enough is being done to support young girls in pursuing sports at all levels? Why or why not?
I would say no, because the funding with money, I feel like different sports such as like basketball, football get the most funding based off the publicity that they get from advertising or networks. So I would say no, just because of those reasons.
Okay. And the fourth and final question. How do you feel about transgender women being allowed to participate in women's sports?
I would say no, just because of what they were born as. Whether or not you are transforming into a man or a woman, you still have the estrogen or testosterone that you're born with. So it doesn't really make a difference.
So basically, like they got a cheat code on them.
Yeah.
Understandable. Well, thanks for your time today, Zakia. On to our next guest.
Hey, I'm D'Angelo Sack. I'm here with.
Ayana Thornton.
Hey, I want to ask a couple questions. How long you been cheerleading?
I've been cheerleading for 3 years now.
3 years now. What made you start cheering?
I used to watch like, the football games when I first moved to Florida, and I wanted to be part of that. I seen the teamwork, and I also became really good friends with the girls.
Okay, and who pushed you or make you strive to keep going and do better at cheer?
My high school coach actually, she still reaches out to me to make sure I'm still doing good, and I still have a passion for cheering.
Okay, and what is your biggest memory or moment of your cheerleading career?
Probably this year at summer camp at NCA when we made it to the runoff, which is our first time actually making it to the runoff to show everyone our game day rally.
Okay, why is that? Why was that your biggest moment?
We were just so happy, like all our hard work like really paid off, and I feel like we really like showed out that year. Well, this year.
Okay, thank you for giving me the time of day. I'm here with Yana, and thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so today for this interview we have.
I'm Brooklyn. I'm a freshman. I play volleyball, and a fun fact about me is I know how to bake.
So Brooklyn, I'm gonna ask you I'm asking 4 questions actually. The first question is, how can we support women in sports?
I feel like men can support women in sports more, just because I feel like men downgrade or downplay us as far as saying that we can't play the sports they play, like basketball, football. I feel like we are able to play them sports. So I feel like the men can support us more by not like trying to downplay us.
Second question is, what legacy do you hope to leave in your sport when you're done playing?
A legacy I hope to leave in my sport, like having the highest records of hits from whatever school I graduate from.
Okay, so this question is, what's one myth or misconception about a female athlete that you'd like to discuss?
One misconception I feel like about female athletes is that they feel like every time we make a mistake or something like that, we try to give up on our sport. But I don't feel like that's always true when it comes to women in sports.
Okay. And this last question I'm going to ask you is, how do you feel about transgender women being allowed to participate in women's sports?
I don't feel like transgender women should participate in women's sports just because I feel like their testosterone is like stronger than ours, so it's really not the same. So I really don't feel like it's fair for them to play in women's sports.
Okay, that's all the questions I have for Brooklyn. On to the next.
Hey, I'm back with D'Angelo. I'm here with a guest, Khalil. I got a couple questions for you in a little quick interview. So, like, what sport do you play?
Well, I'm a former cheerleader
Former cheerleader, and how long you been cheering and stuff like that?
since I was 6.
Since you were 6, how do you feel about the cheerleading and social media? Like, how did that help you or don't help you in that area or something like that?
I feel as though social media helps like expose cheerleaders, I guess,
Help expose cheerleaders, okay. How do you feel
but
about
in a positive way.
in a positive way? Okay, so how do you feel about transgenders is now eligible to join female sports, as in like track, soccer, cheerleading, gymnastics, stuff like that? How do you feel, or how do that affect you?
I feel like it gets to a point like it's a limit because you're still a male. But like for cheer, I feel like it's acceptable because they do it now. But for other sports such as like track, gymnastics, I feel as though they should stay in the male, category because they're still male.
It's still male. Yeah, I can feel you on that. But so, with all that being said, you think transgenders should be allowed or not allowed?
That's hard.
It always just simply yes or no. Like, should transgenders be allowed to cheerlead, play basketball with females, and
Do female sports? No.
no at all
No.
because they
Except
still,
cheer.
because they still a man.
Yes, because they're still male.
Okay. Appreciate it for your time.
All right, I'm Jaden Wilson, and I'm here with our next guest.
Rafi.
All right, Raph, we have 4 questions for you today. Are you ready? All right, first question. What inspired you to pursue a career in sports, more specifically track and field?
Growing up, I haven't really been a sport person. Never did any sport in my life, and I wanted to be involved. Everybody was doing something, so I was like, I can run, and I did track.
All right, next question. What does mental strength mean to you in high-level competition?
Mental strength is a big factor, especially in track. 'Cause track is a mental sport. Like, you have to literally talk yourself into the finish of every race. The finish is the most important part of the race, and you have to be mentally strong in order to do that. So, like, your surroundings is one thing that's important because being around the wrong people and around the wrong things could influence your mental strength too. So.
Third question. What are your goals for the next phase of your career on or off the field?
My next phase is getting better, getting off my injury and getting better because this season was not a good season at all. I didn't get to run at all, and I'm trying to get my times down and get back to running.
And the fourth and final question. How do you feel about transgenders being able to participate in women's sports?
It's not fair to women because yes, they're transformed into the gender that they are supposed to be, if you want to say. But it's not fair to women because yes, they can't compete with men because technically they're women, but at the same time it's not fair to women for them to compete with them because they're not on the same level, I would say. But I don't know where they would compete at if they wasn't competing with women, maybe have their own league or whatnot, but it's just not fair. That's my personal
You
opinion.
just feel like they have more of an advantage.
Yes.
Okay, understandable. Well, that's it for this interview today. Thank you, Ralphie. On to our next.
Halfway there. We are completed.
Okay, so today interview we have
Abigail.
Abigail. I'm gonna ask you 4 questions. The first question is, what advice will you give to young girls who want to pursue sports?
I give them to work hard. Like, there's never the end to anything. Like, you're gonna encounter difficulties, but at the end of the day, as long as you believe in yourself, there's always a way.
The second question is, what are your goals for the next phase of your career on or off the field?
On the field, I'm trying to work harder. Hopefully, to get somewhere better to pursue the dreams that I have and the potential that I know I have.
Third question is, what role do teammates or fellow women in sports play in your success?
My teammates, they do play a significant part in my success. They're very supportive. They're always there for me, as you can see, and they just really help me mentally. So, yeah.
The last question is, how do you feel about transgender playing in women's sports?
I honestly don't think that's fair. I don't think if you were born, certain gender, for example, in this case, male, I don't think it would be fair to women that those who were born genetically.
Kick it.
It's like a woman to be up against, transgenders.
That's all for today. For Abigail, on to the next. All right, thank you. Okay, today's interview we have
Layla.
Layla, I'm going to ask you 4 questions. The first question is, what inspired you to pursue a career in sports?
Just honestly having the right coaching and being confident in myself and just knowing that no matter what happens, I got me.
Heard that. The second question is, how do you hope to inspire the next generation of girls in sports?
Really just motivate them because most females feel like they can't do sports due to having men around or just being downplayed by men.
Third question is, what advice would you give to young girls who want to pursue sports?
Continue to stay confident, have God in your life, and really just uplift yourself when nobody else does.
The last question is, how do you feel about transgender playing a part in women's sports?
Honestly, I feel like we just have to be equal towards them the same way we are to other females, because at the end of the day, if they choose to be a female, then we got to treat them the same way we treat ourselves.
That's all the questions we have for. Now on to the next interview.
Hello, I'm D'Angelo South. I'm here with.
Aaliyah.
Hey, I'm here to ask you a couple questions about your cheering life. How long you been cheerleading?
I've been cheering. Oh, it's no mic. I've been cheering since the second grade. No, first grade.
First grade. First grade. So what made you start cheering?
It was this girl, and she was flipping and stuff, and she was like popular. So I was like, I want to learn how to do that. So I learned.
And out of your whole career of cheerleading, what is your best memory or your proudest moment?
Winning trophies and stuff, because like we worked hard for that, and it paid off.
In your whole cheerleading career, who pushed you or who been in your corner to make you keep going?
My mother, the lady who birthed me, my coaches, and me.
And thank you for giving them the time, your day, interview you, and have a nice day.
Bye.
we are here with our next interviewee, Miss
Taylor.
All right, Miss Taylor. We have 4 questions for you today. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. First one. What inspired you to start playing your sport?
My dad inspired me because like I wasn't always a person that played sports. I was always this shy girl that didn't want to come out, always was in my room, cooped up. But my dad inspired me because like he didn't want me to be in the house, so he wanted me to get out and do things. So my first sport was soccer, and when I tried soccer, it went into track, and like it started going from there, and I started liking it more and more. So yeah, my dad's my inspiration, pushing me to be my greatest.
Like it. Next question. What advice would you give to young girls who want to pursue sports professionally?
The advice I would give is always stay mentally strong. Always give yourself grace. No matter what you're going through, always push forward because it's gonna always be great at the end.
All right, on to our third question. How do you use your platform to inspire others?
I use my platform to inspire others by showing them my leadership skills. First, I would post things on my social media about the things that I'm doing, and I would also talk to them to inspire them about certain things that I'm doing. I would show them the accomplishments that I accomplished as I was going towards my goals, and also talk to them about trying to join those things or accomplishing their goals. Yeah.
All right, on to our fourth and final question. How do you feel about transgenders being able to participate in women's sports?
It's unfair. I say it's unfair because before they was a woman, they was a man. So of course they'll have man tendencies, their muscles will be bigger than ours, or they run quite faster than us because, like I said, there was a man before a woman. So they wouldn't be fair. They wouldn't be fair at all for the female athletes. They'll win a lot of races unless we train with them. But I mean, it would be good on the females unless we train with. It would be good with the females if we train with them and prepare ourselves to be as like them. But I don't think it's fair as for them being on a woman's team.
Understand. Well, all right, guys, that's it for today. Thank you for your time, Ms. Taylor. On to the next. All right, we are here with our next interviewee, Miss
Trinasian.
All right, we have 4 questions for you today. Are you ready? All right, first question. What moment made you realize this is what I'm meant to do?
Seeing what others think about me doing the sport I do. I encourage others to keep going in their sport.
Next, what brings you the most joy in your sport beyond winning?
I say the challenges you overface each time you run and meeting new people.
On to our third question. How has your sport shaped the way you approach life outside of competition?
It shaped the way I approach life because I feel like I can overcome any challenge put in my way.
All right. And on to our fourth and final question. How do you feel about transgenders being able to participate in women's sports?
I feel like it's not fair. Their hormones are different, which means they're going to perform way better than us.
Valid point. All right, thank you for your time. On to our next interview.
Okay, so now that we have gotten all of the interviews out the way and seen everybody's intakes on the topics that we discussed, how do you feel that they did?
Honestly, it was very interesting, to get people's, takes. We found out a lot of people's whys on why they did their particular sports, and a lot of them were very good. Some were basic, some just did it for the fun of the sport. Some, using it as an escape, So, I mean, and I can relate being an athlete myself. So, honestly, just to see it from a woman's point of view and get their take on it was very, very, different and refreshing in a sense, because normally you always talk to the males and you get their perspective on their whys and, how they got into a sport, but you never really hear the women's side of things. And we also asked them a very challenging, question that, revolves in society today, pertaining to, transgenders in women's sports. So it was a lot of, the consensus answer really was, they really just thought it was unfair. And obviously, if anyone knows anything about sports, you know that males, or just males in general, like, our bodies are built different. We're stronger, we're faster than the average woman. So for them to view that as unfair, I can completely understand. What do you think, Jakar?
I mean, some of them was answering, very honest, such as they don't believe that transgender people should be able to play in women's sports, and I can agree. As y'all seen in the interview, some of their answers were because of, their bodies are a lot different than women, so they'll have a little bit more advantage, and that'll be so-called kind of cheating as to what the post there said. So, but some people answer with they're fine with it. They'll just have to treat them just like any other woman has been treated. So, I believe I like how they answer honest, because that's a big topic now within the country. So there's a lot of stuff like that going around and stuff like that. So I believe they answered real honest, and I'm glad to hear their perspective, because sometimes women like to hold back on things like that. So it was nice to hear their perspective.
Well, that's it on the final episode of Triple Take for the semester. We have enjoyed making videos for, the people that have viewed. So, that's a wrap.
This dedication video, I like to dedicate to my mom and dad. Y'all have done a lot for me, and I'm finna graduate, so this is like a long journey. So I know y'all are proud of me and what I'm doing right now, what class, long journey to come to college. I didn't come to college straight out of high school. And so I thank y'all for putting y'all time into me and making sure I got everything I have to be successful in life. Love y'all.
All right, take a walk with me as I do my dedication. First of all, I really just want to dedicate this to my family, mom, dad. Been a long ride, a lot of ups and downs, just life, sports, whatnot. But y'all stuck with me all the way. I don't know where I would be without y'all, but y'all definitely made me a better man, spiritually, mentally, physically a little bit. But, y'all keep me going. It's always, a good time. Whenever I get down, I call on y'all, or I look to y'all for uplift, and y'all are definitely every time. So I really appreciate that. My little brothers, same goes for y'all. I started this journey really just looking to be the example for y'all. And, I've made some mistakes along the way. We all have. But, for y'all to sit there and go through y'all own experiences and look to me for guidance and, be able to right some of the wrongs that I've done, it's just really inspiring, and it truly keeps me going. So, yeah, it's a wrap for this semester, wrap for, my undergrad years, and y'all been with me every step of the way. I don't know where I'd be without y'all. Love y'all.